Hey everyone, and welcome to another manga recommendations video. Today I'm going to be talking about Akiko Higashimura's series Princess Jellyfish, which is a josei comedy initially released in Kiss magazine from 2008 to 2017 and released in Japan in 17 volumes. It has been released in its entirety by Kodansha from 2016 to 2018 in pretty much entirely 2-in-1 omnibus format. So for anyone unaware of my channel or my videos, I am a huge Princess Jellyfish fan. This series is by far one of the best from the previous years. It's so funny, it's so relatable, and it's definitely one that I would recommend to everybody. But it follows our main character, Tsukimi, who, aside from being just a pretty socially nervous 18-year-old girl now living in Tokyo, she is an absolute jellyfish otaku. She adores them, knows everything about them. And one night, after sort of running into what she and her boarding house friends and I guess roommates call a stylish or a sort of popular type of young person, meets one of the stylish herself, a gorgeous girl, beautiful, commanding, has her life together, and together, or with her help, actually manages to buy a jellyfish from the pet store, saving its life. And then this mysterious girl crashes in her room overnight, and the next morning she discovers, much to her horror, not only is there like an extremely stylish, beautiful person in her room where there's like no stylish people allowed. It's a rule, it's banned, nobody's allowed to go in there. She is not a she is actually an incredibly handsome young man. And so it's a very interesting, funny dynamic between this young girl, or not girl, but young woman who doesn't really want to fit in with society, doesn't think she does fit in society, knows that her interests are pretty unusual and something that a lot of people aren't interested in. And this young guy who his own interests are pretty unusual for, early 20s young guys. There's not a huge amount of cross-dressers, but his adoration and love for fashion and the importance it has in his life is something he uses as sort of like a power play against his father, just because his family is all politicians. They're very boring and stuffy, and he really wants to break out of that. He doesn't have any want to join the political sphere, and they become sort of this mismatched odd pair of friends. And it's a wonderful series that I've spoken at length about in pretty much every pickup video that I have with this series. But not only does it very realistically and very accurately portray the fashion industry and the realities going into actual clothing design, manufacturing, marketing, and sales, but it's a celebration of passions, regardless of what your personal interests are, as well as feeling like a social misfit or feeling like you don't belong because of what you love. I think for a lot of people, especially like now, these nerdy hobbies, things like manga and anime, we have also experienced a similar sort of feelings of being seen as the odd one or not being understood thanks to the stuff we enjoy. And this series encourages you to embrace it and to explore and be willing to teach and explain why things are so interesting to you to people who might not initially get it. But also it does actually talk about the importance of how we as people present ourselves to the rest of the world, and whilst it's not always fair, why that happens, and sort of how socially and like within our minds we perceive people just from the way they present themselves, which ties again back into the fashion stuff, but also into how we go about in expressing our interests and having that confidence to really show the best within the stuff that we enjoy. It's a phenomenal series. As I said, I would recommend it to pretty much anyone. It's funny, the characters are wonderful, the writing is wonderful, the art style is wonderful. It's just all around one of the best josei current or having been released. It's not it never gets too overwrought with some of the dramatic or romantic elements. It has a really delicate balance between all of the characters, but all of the characters are really fun and funny to read. They're all characters you want to see succeed, and Higashimura has done a wonderful job with that. Here we have the first omnibus cover, and then volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, volume 7, volume 8, and volume 9. So the 9th volume, because this series was 17 volumes in all, the 9th volume isn't a full omnibus or 2-in-1, but it does have a lot of extra information, a colored art gallery, interviews with Higashimura about this series, as well as the first chapter to her newest series, Tokyo Tarareba Girls, which is also fantastic. But this series, I think, because it is more so than anything this celebration of enthusiasm and passion and creativity and sort of embracing yourself and your personality, is one that I think anyone can read and enjoy. Just because it's under the josei label doesn't mean it's just for young women. It really is one that I think everyone and anyone should read. It's just marvelous. Similar titles or series I would probably compare it to would include things like Ouran High School Host Club, whilst definitely having more of a romantic focus later on. Does have a similar dynamic between the characters, as well as like an unfailing expression and acceptance of characters' personalities without making them feel bad for the stuff that they enjoy or the things that they believe, as well as Skip Beat, which I think again is more so about following your dreams and doing the things that you're passionate about, even if you don't necessarily realize how that's going to express itself. But yes, fantastic series, would recommend to anybody, and that's my recommendation for Princess Jellyfish. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Bye till then.